Today we're fixing up the lathe and you get to see my first turning on it. Hi guys and welcome back to the show. Now I got this lathe about a year ago and the guy I bought it from said that it used to be in a school, and that is all the history I have on it. The first time I switched the lathe on there was a crash and a piece of the pulley wheel broke off. Luckily it was a clean break because I have no idea of even where to look for new pulley wheels for this. I thought I'd try some of this JB Weld to glue it back on. I don't know if it was necessary, but I washed the glue surfaces with some white spirits to help the JB Weld adhere. The way I understand this is a metal enhanced 2-component resin. And here you see me using it for the first time. The spatula I'm using to mix the resin and hardener I got at a local arts and crafts store for a couple of euros, and it's really good for this kind of application. The chip fit perfectly back into the notch, and I tried removing as much of the squeeze out as I could, because I think it will be very difficult later. Because I am a woodworker, I added a clamp, and to be sure I left it to set overnight. There was a tiny bead of squeeze out left, but I will leave it like this because I don't think it will do any harm. And when switching the lathe back on, the pulley wheel didn't explode, so I guess that's a good thing. It may not be that easy to see in this picture, but the spindle and tailstock wheel didn't align perfectly, so I used my gentle, superfine detail engineering skills to gently fix it. I also find that putting my head in front of the camera helps a lot. Because of its age, all the sizes on it are imperial. The headstock spindle is a 3/4 inch 10 TPI threaded one, and I haven't been able to find any chucks that fit that size or any other accessories, to be honest. But I managed to get this lathe headstock spindle adapter that adapts it to a 1 inch by 8 TPI. And I think I should be able to find some kind of accessories for this adapter. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is that when the length of the spindle increases, then I may have some wobble issues. So if you guys have any experience with that, please tell me in the comments below. This faceplate is the only accessory I have for the lathe as of yet. But there has been a little bit of competition regarding access to it lately. Now the lathe should be back in working order, so let us test it out. I recently acquired this York face vise from Axminster, and it needs a handle, and that will make for the perfect beginner project. I have 3D printed this very handy center finder, and the slot is a bit wide for my mechanical pencil, so when not being careful it finds everything but the center, as you can see here. So safety gear, face shield and dust mask, and rolled up sleeves. I'll mostly be using my roughing gouge, and this is by Robert Porky. I may have said that this is my first turning, but it is not strictly true. I turned a bat back in woodshop class way back in the last millennia. Anyway, I started doing really light passes to get this round. And by the way, if you are an experienced turner, you are very welcome to leave tips for me down in the comments, whether it be regarding techniques, safety, or whatever you deem helpful. And if you are not an experienced turner, I welcome your comments and points of view as well. Luke, I am Nomad Makes. I finally got the workpiece more or less round and started being able to ride the bevel. After a quick test fit in the vise, it was time for some sanding. Taking a tip from the book of Issy Swan, I have some blocks of sandpaper glued to them, and it was real handy when trying to get this handle straight. Take a look at all the sawdust in the air, and this is just what the camera picked up and what you can see after rendered to YouTube. Using a dust mask in this kind of environment is an absolute must. So here is more sawdust, and the power to noise converter isn't really doing much. I guess we've made a new throne for Baby Vader. I want to make a rounded end piece for the handle. Back in the previous millennia in woodshop class, we were taught to plane the corners off before making the school-sponsored blunt weapons we used in our gang wars. I thought I'd give that a try, and it gave me an opportunity to get better acquainted with my newly acquired Stanley No. 4. This way, getting the workpiece round should go quicker and be less hard on my roughing gouge, as I have no good way of sharpening it yet. To have some spare pieces in case this doesn't work, I cut several parts the same size. Oh, by the way, the most important thing you have to do to get your dust collection to work is to actually turn it on. For some reason I keep rediscovering this effect. Having gotten better acquainted with my 3D printed center finder, I was actually able to find the center this time. I should like to play you the song of my people. The spindle left an unsightly hole, and I chose to fill it using a dowel and a mix of PVA and sawdust. So there you have it, guys. My first project on the lathe, using the force and some JB Weld. I've had some questions about my setup here, so I thought I'd show you. I have a roof-mounted ash sucker with a HEPA filter. These are much cheaper than shop vacs and have the same filtration and suction, so they are a good alternative if you are not sucking up liquids. And I also have a roof-mounted cable reel. The setup works fairly well for handheld power tools and the like. The blue air filter you see on the left is a HEPA filter from Clas Ohlson, which works quite well. And the noise you hear in the background is my power to noise converter, also known as the Thor filtration unit. But again, that is it for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to leave a thumbs up. If this is your first visit to my channel, please consider subscribing. Should you want to support me, you will find a Patreon link and affiliate links to products I use and recommend below. If you don't feel like that, you can help by telling your friends about the channel on your social media of choice. Cheers, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.